Man, I hate IMDb. It's like a film review site for people who use Facebook and post to Facebook a lot. Just like the place where terrible hot takes go to die. And they want this show, to fail so bad. They really do. So this episode was reviewing incredibly low on IMDb, probably because of goddamn SJW propaganda. But actually, the episode was fine. It wasn't. It didn't blow me away. It was probably the episode that, I don't know. It's between this and the first episode that impressed me the least out of the four. But it's only 4 episodes. It was definitely a step down from episode 3, but it was still pretty good. I still had a pretty good time. And it still revealed some stuff to me. Unfortunately, it is a 6-episode season, so saying that isn't the best, but. I still enjoyed the episode, and there were still a lot of things that were, a lot of fun to be had. I love the set design, as I have in the previous episodes, and they continue to blow me away with the set design in this show. I really like it. I want to know who's doing it. All of the Empire stuff is just absolutely beautiful. The reflections, the deep black glass is just absolutely gorgeous. The red lights, the just adherence to the 70s visuals while sort of modernizing it is absolutely beautiful. And the idea of it being underwater, which I think the only other time I can think of a base like this, as a matter of fact, this could be that base, was the one from Jedi Fallen Order, right at the end of the... I think that was underwater, right? I'm pretty sure that was. And I think that was actually the same base. Oh, sorry, huge spoilers. There's going to be huge spoilers in this one. Yeah, careful, I will be talking spoilers. Although, maybe I've already done that, so I may have to put a warning in the comments. But so this episode, of course, follows Obi-Wan going to rescue Leia in this sort of Empire base. We've got a lot of the third sister, a lot of... I can't ever remember her name. It's Tao something, the sort of... side character that we follow around quite a bit too, and that's about it. It's quite light on characters, this one. We do get a bit of Vader at the end, but mostly it follows an interrogation between the third sister and Leia. Meanwhile, obviously, Obi is going to save her. And it's not bad, a lot of it is just corridor stuff. We saw a lot of this stuff in Mando, and I think it's done equally as well. Some gorgeous shots through the corridors, and like I said, some great set design. It's not a long episode, and it doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel as though there's a lot of meat on the bone. But we do get to see Obi-Wan really discovering his powers. And one thing I really like about this episode is there's a moment where he fights off some stormtroopers in a corridor, and then it just hangs, and you see him sort of discover what he used to, the experience he used to get when he was fighting stormtroopers. And oddly enough, it seemed though he was kind of happy about it, which I never got that vibe from any of the Star Wars films. But yeah, it feels as though this is him sort of looking back and going, maybe I'm back in gear, maybe I'm back in action. And immediately after that, he begins to get better. His saber skills begin to improve a little bit, and he's able to hold back the water as it's cracking through the screen. I think that's pretty cool. Like, he really is beginning to discover his powers, and I think he is going to get there, especially as it's going to be a season 2, and there's been a lot of fan backlash about him not being powerful enough. I really do think that we're definitely beginning to see that development, and I had a lot of fun watching that. We also get to see the third sister use her saber a bit, and I think she's going to be very skilled, and I'm looking forward to whatever fight she has at the end. Hopefully, it's an Obi versus sister fight. That could be great. Speaking of the third sister, I am really beginning to, slowly, episode by episode, really beginning to warm to this character. So we finally get some backstory a little bit, and we get some compassion. I thought she was more interesting than she's ever been in this episode, because she mirrors some of Leia's compassion and some of Leia's emotion in the episode, and that adds a layer to the character when it comes to analysing the character herself. So there's moments where she doesn't want Leia to be tortured. She doesn't like the idea of interrogating her for too long, and she wants her to reveal the information, partly because she wants the information and partly because she wants this horrible experience to end for Leia. But she has to do it, and she sort of grits her teeth and gets through it because, first and foremost is catching Obi and the Empire. And I like that. We are beginning to see some cracks in the armor with the third sister. She's not so one-dimensional, and we get some ideas of what caused that, the causality of her feeling this way, both with the compassion and with her being angry angry at everything seemingly, and that's good. You know, her story is beginning to mirror Leia's a bit. You know, she understands, and she does have empathy for what happens to Leia and what's happening to Leia, and she puts that upon herself and thinks about it and procrastinates about it, and I think that's very interesting. Overall, though, you know, there are some cool moments, some good shots. There's one shot, I won't spoil it, with some explosions. It's really great. Obviously, everything crescendos to a big action scene at the end. We do see sort of like, okay, well, these are the casualties of war. There's a couple of moments regarding that. But ultimately, what we're seeing is Obi-Wan getting stronger. We're seeing new stuff that's kind of not too new. And just generally a push forward in the story. But the third sister is getting more interesting. Vader, by the way, man, I love him in the show. He is so good in the show. And him popping up at the end. He just feels like such a badass in the show. Like, they've never got Vader wrong, and they still haven't. He's absolutely great in the show. But yeah, no, definitely. It's shaping up to be good. I'm hoping the next episode does more and has a little more meat on the bone. But I still enjoyed this episode. If not for anything, you know, visually, it's a very good looking episode. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on that episode. It's a quicker one this time, and I guess I will see everyone later.